Well, the Democratic National Committee released a long-awaited so-called autopsy report on what happened in that much-disputed 2024 election. Up until now, DNC Chair Ken Martin kept this and the results under wraps. The final document, it's a big read, 192 pages. CBS News Executive Director for the White House and Politics, Fin Gómez, dug into those pages, joins us now. So, Fin, what did that report say, and why is the DNC seeming to distance themselves a little bit from it?
Right, Reed. This has been a long anticipated report, and we did dug into this 192 pages of this report. Somewhat of a surprise report because up until now, it was not expected. Ken Martin, the DNC chair, had received a lot of criticism since the election for not releasing the report. It was expected that he said he wasn't going to release it. And then finally today, this 192-page report is released. Really showcasing what they felt went wrong in the 2024 election. Of course, Vice President Harris lost to Donald Trump, but the report lays blame on the Biden political operation for Kamala Harris's defeat, saying it failed to, quote, effectively support Harris, who became, of course, the eventual 2024 nominee over the summer, and why she did not win. One key quote I wanted to read you is that it said essentially the national campaign did not effectively drive Trump's negatives, and the White House did not effectively support Vice President Harris over 3.5 years to improve her standing before the candidate switch over that 2024 summer. Also notable, there is no mention of President Biden's age. If you recall, during that presidential cycle, it was a big factor, a negative factor on his presidential reelection bid, and one that ultimately helped oust him, push him out from that campaign following that disastrous CNN debate performance that he had. Also, there was no mention of either Israel or the Middle East in this report. As you recall, during that cycle, it was a significant issue that divided the Democratic base, and something that many had expected to be in this extensive report. Reed.
Fin, did Ken Martin give any insight on why he decided to release this report now? I guess the big question, why now?
Look, and just reading this out loud here, I mean, it was notable. Across the 192 pages, there are a lot of references, disclaimers saying that the committee was not provided with the underlying sourcing, interviews, or supporting data for many of the assertions, or cannot independently verify the claims. Very interesting. So, but it turns out that it seems to me that they're trying to distance themselves from the report, from the findings here. We do know CBS News can confirm that the author of the report, that is not mentioned, his name is not mentioned in the report, is Democratic strategist Paul Rivera. Now, Rivera is a longtime ally of Ken Martin. During a phone call today, we also can confirm that Martin announced to other Democrats and DNC officials that Rivera is no longer working for the committee. But again, like, this is something that was expected, and Martin has been long hammered by his fellow Democrats for not releasing this report. He himself has said that this memo was not ready for prime time, not even close, and also apologized that this report had become a distraction in a Substack post. So why now? And that is the big question. But ultimately, I think the pressure from within the party and externally was a major factor here, Reed.
Fin, I want to get your reaction to something that was just handed to me by way of some breaking news. The former DNC Vice Chair David Hogg, who the world knows as survived an episode of gun violence and has worked very hard in the gun safety lobby, and then is the former DNC Vice Chair. He just issued this statement, and I'll just read to it in part. And this sort of may take the temperature about how people in the DNC are feeling about this. It says, this autopsy and the months-long debate about even releasing the report, he calls it a demoralizing joke. He says it's clear that Chair Ken Martin has lost the confidence of his staff, supporters, and most importantly, millions of Americans counting on the DNC to help Democrats win up and down the ballot in 2028. He's calling on Ken Martin to resign. Any reaction to that, Finn?
Yeah, I have talked to David Hogg a couple of times over even the last couple of weeks. He has become sort of this a rising progressive leader within the Democratic Party. But if you recall, he was also pushed out by Ken Martin for some of his beliefs and strategies that countered against Martin's platform and agenda. So that's a rivalry, if you will, that's long standing there. But he does give voice to a growing criticism within the party about not only this report and sort of the circus around it, if you will, but other measures that have been criticized by Democrats, including the fundraising numbers by the DNC versus the RNC. The RNC, the Republican version of the Democratic Committee, has raised an enormous amount of money in comparison to the DNC that ended last cycle in deficit. They owed money, and so it's something to watch. We are a little under 200 days away, about 170 days away until the midterms. That's the next big tentpole here. Democrats are riding some of their Democratic overperformances in some of these key races, not only this year but last year. And there's a sense that they can really potentially take back the House and potentially the Senate. They feel they have a lot of momentum this cycle, and they are, I've been told by Democrats, they are irked and frustrated that this has become such a distraction when their focus should really be on gaining more seats and flipping the House and potentially the Senate come November. Reed.
All right. Fin Gómez, always great to talk to you. Thank you so much, my friend.